Common sense is the positive flip side of the ladder of inference that you saw in our first module, remember? Common sense is our ability to use existing knowledge and beliefs to interpret information and draw conclusions that reflect both reality and experience. That is what you acquire over time that makes your intuition a reliable source of information to make conscious and rational decisions. But in our daily lives, our analytical mind often obstructs the obvious answers provided by common sense. Although mathematics and science give us the ability to break problems and situations down into equations and numbers, they can also tempt us to try to explain every phenomenon by analytical judgment. You need to be aware that focusing too heavily on details can cause you to lose the sense of the whole. Common sense is the capacity to look at the world as it is rather than as it should be, might be, or could be. One summer, I took part in a family event where we had tests to take and enigmas to solve in different places along the coast of the beautiful French island of Corsica. In one place, we had to obtain a precise reading of the depth of the sea. A friend, the captain of the boat we were on, jumped into the water to take the measurement with his brand new high-tech depth meter. A few seconds later, he was standing in the water, proudly reporting to his wife, 3 mètres 50, 9.8 feet. She was diligently writing the answer on the quiz sheet when one of the kids, who was only 11 years old, said, "But that's not possible. Papa est debout et il ne fait pas 3 mètres 50. Dad is standing and he isn't 3.5 meters tall." The child's common sense resonated against our adult minds, which had abdicated their responsibility for thinking in favor of blind faith in supposedly reliable tools. Now, I'm sure you've had such funny moments where common sense was blurred. It's your turn to tell a story where your judgment and rational thinking affected the reality as it simply was. Please share your story with us. You can do it in a short paragraph. And you can share this story in the forum and hopefully read other of your peers telling their stories. You probably want to keep a trace of some of those stories that have inspired you the most in your SR journal. A critical mind and an acute awareness of the signals the world gives us are ways to nurture our common sense. For example, when a person works in cross-cultural settings, knowledge of individual cultures is important to address a group or a team. This knowledge, however, must be tempered by observations of how the individual actually behaves. In today's world, many people have an international education or have family or social ties to a range of cultures. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance to balance one's appreciation of cultural differences with respect for the individual and the messages they communicate through their behavior. Common sense reminds us to be aware, attentive, and vigilant, and to be patient enough to truly apprehend a situation. This is exactly the attitude you will need to engage in your conversation later in this MOOC. Before we start the conversation part, I want to share with you in our next episode one last point about sense, yet another definition of this incredibly powerful word for leadership. This is our 5th definition. Do you remember what the other 4 definitions of sense were? Take a moment to think about this. Yes, you're right. We have seen sense as, in primary senses, conscious awareness, sensation leading to intuition, and common sense.